Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Marathon Agent Podcast. I am your host, Antonio McNeil. Let's get started. I recently came back from a trip from Florida, my first time to Walt Disney World, and it was an amazing time. All thanks to my family. Thank you, Uncle Jim, Aunt Stella, everyone. It was so much fun. So much I want to go over, of course, about real estate. And I want to go back to the basics because when I was on my trip to Florida, I did spend a lot of my time with family for like the first week. And then the last 4 days, I went off and went to other parts of Florida. I went to Tampa, I went to Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Fort Lauderdale, all those little areas, and I had so much fun, and it made me want to move. I know I can move there at any moment if I sold one of these properties, right? And when I was thinking about that, it made me more motivated to go over how to buy a property for my viewers. So let's talk about buying a house. Before we start though, I know you love me. If you could please like and subscribe and also comment below on other topics you want me to discuss on the podcast. But let's just start with getting your pre-approval, because without getting a pre-approval, we can't even go over the steps on getting a good deal in today's market. The first thing that you want to do is you want to contact a lender that you trust. Even as a first-time buyer, we're afraid of giving personal information to a lender that we may or may not know well, but they are essential to helping you get not only your home, but the right home loan that will make you feel more confident in your purchase. You want to be prepared to have your taxes ready, your last 2 years of taxes. That's a standard. So if you haven't paid your taxes, pay your taxes. And then also you want to make sure that you have your bank statements prepared, you have proof of employment, so a verification letter may be required depending on the job that you have, and then maybe some other small documents, but those are the main ones. Just talk to your lender before you give the information over. That way you have a trust and a rapport with your lender. So once you give your information to your lender so they can start the pre-approval process, probably within 24 to 48 hours, you're gonna receive your final pre-approval. So now that we have the pre-approval information out of the way, now we're ready to buy a house. And if I'm your realtor, I'm ready to go show you some properties ASAP so we can find the best home and the best deal for you. Once we locate the house or houses that you want to write an offer on, this is where we get to the good stuff on how to negotiate a really good deal. When you find the home that you want, let's just say you're buying a house for $500,000, okay? Your interest rate is 6.2%, let's just say, okay? And you also have closing costs that are $15,000. Your average closing costs are gonna be about 3% depending on where you live. So all these numbers are being thrown at you. You got $15,000 in closing costs that you gotta pay. You have the 6.2 interest rate. You're buying the house for $500,000. What am I doing? We can fix a lot of this, I promise. So the first thing that you want to do is when you're writing your offer with your realtor is to make sure that you find the house with the seller that's willing to negotiate with you. And this is where it gets real fun. This is where you have a realtor. Hi, I'm your realtor for today. And you trust me, you built a rapport with me. We're ready to write offers. This is where we strategize on getting you the best deal with the rates being so high, averaging 6 to 6.5, with prices being over $500,000 for most homes. We're gonna find a way to get you an amazing deal, I guarantee. Now that we're looking around the neighborhood, we're finding homes that you want to write an offer on. Here is one of the first steps that you should take with your realtor and lender when you're making the offer. Find a home that has market time, because these homes and sellers in particular are going to be more motivated to negotiate a better deal on your behalf. Because think about it. A seller is selling their home. Most case, they need to sell it or they have intent to sell it for financial gain, right? If a house that you like is in a neighborhood that you really want to be in, and let's say the price is $525,000, but the market time has been 40 days on the market, there's been no price drop, nothing's happened, crickets. Girl, this is where you come in with your agent and find the right agent to help you lower the price down and negotiate a better deal. This is one of the first steps that you should always take. And a lot of times realtors will tell their clients, yeah, we can find a home that's out of your budget and lower the price. They don't want to tell you that because it takes more work, but it gets even better. So we did the first step, finding and locating the properties with longer market time. That will always help you find the better deal. Second, is to find a seller that will give you money back for your closing cost credit, or better yet, concessions. Have a seller give you money back, and that way you can not only pay for your closing costs, you could also lower your interest rate this way. Whoa, I'm telling you, it gets better. Now, like I said, my first step, if you find a seller or a seller's property that's been on the market for 30 days, 40 days or more, they are going to most likely want to negotiate more with you. They want to close a deal. They may be a little challenging to work with at first, but the opportunity to get a better deal lies within itself because they're still trying to sell their house. So what you want to ask for is up to 3.5% in concessions or credit back to you as a buyer. That means that if your lender allows it, you can go up to 3% of the purchase price, maybe 3.5% of the purchase price of the home you're buying. And that percentage can be credit going back to you to lower your costs. Most cases, it can only lower your closing cost credit, and your closing cost credit will be your prepaid taxes. It will be other things that are included in that that help you buy the house, and it helps the state get their prepaid taxes up front, right? The property tax, but you have to pay it, right? So a way to avoid paying that is by getting the seller to give you money back, and that's the standard with getting concessions back from a seller. Is you're using that money to help you pay for your closing costs. And with the closing costs, you have to pay them. They're your upfront property taxes. You have a lot that you have to pay with the lender fee involved, so you have to pay that. Now, that's the standard. That money is used for paying your closing costs. But in this current market, more lenders are doing what are called loan buy downs. And in this situation, it's similar to asking the seller for money back for your closing costs. You're still asking the seller for not money, but credit or concessions, right? And that same money that you could use for closing costs, you could also use it for lowering your interest rate. The same money that you get from that seller to lower your closing costs, you could use that for your interest rate to get lowered if your lender allows it. So there's a lot of ways where you could use the concession money that the seller offers you, whether it's $10,000, $15,000, great. If they offer you that amount of credit back, let it utilize itself in the best way for you, whether it's lowering your rate or it's paying for your closing costs. But in this situation, I would say use it to lower your rate. Why do I say that? Because if you look on Zillow.com, go on their mortgage calculator tab. And if you pull up their mortgage calculator tab, you will see real quickly how crucial an interest rate is to your monthly mortgage payment. Now, let's just say you're buying a house for $500,000, and let's just put the percentage at 5%. Who has 20% for a down payment of $500,000? Not a lot of people. So let's just put 5%, 30-year fix. Let's say the rate is 5.996, so 6%. Your payment right now looks about $3,600 with the 5.96% interest rate. However, if you were able to, let's just say, get 15 grand back from the seller on the house that you want to buy, let's say your lender can reduce your interest rate from 6% to 5%. Let's just say, go to 5%. You go from $3,600 to roughly over $3,300, which essentially you're saving $250, $300 on average just by lowering your rate to 1 point. You got to take advantage of the market and utilize your realtor, have them work for the deal and get them to lower your rate. Call that seller, get the money back, so that way you can save $100, $200, even if it's $50. If you get money back from the seller, you're going to find a way to lower your rate in the current market where the rates are averaging over 6%. There is a very possible chance that you can get the same $500,000 home that somebody bought for this year at a 6% rate. They're paying this number. You could lower your rate if you get the seller to give you money back and pay this number on the same house that this person just bought this year. But they bought at 6%. You were able to get your realtor and lender to lower your rate to 5%, and you saved a couple of $100 on your mortgage. Snap, snap, snap. Once you figure out all the paperwork with your lender and they get back with you on your numbers, they give you your interest rate, this is now where you talk with the realtor that you trust and you work with and have them find the house or houses for you that you like, that you're willing to write an offer on, but houses that have negotiation leverage. Properties that have been on the market for more than 30 days are gonna have a great chance for you to get the better deal. And getting the better deal, you're able to get closing cost credit or money back to lower your rate, loan buy down. So again, just talking with the right people, having the right team, the right lender, the right agent, real estate agent, it's really going to help you really get a good deal right now where a lot of buyers can't. Because going back to that rate, it's again why buyers are getting bought out and they're not able to buy. If you are in a situation where you're still approved with the rates going high, some buyers who were approved 6 months ago are not able to buy. That's the only reason why they're not trying to get the home that you are looking at right now. So don't let the fear of the market or buyers not buying houses right now stop you from getting a good deal if you can get it. The greatest advantage right now in this market is that you don't have a bunch of competition, especially like in my time when I was buying my properties. I had at least 5 other offers that I was competing with. In this scenario right now, with the market being where it's at, if you find the right home, you're probably going to be the only competition, which means you're going to get the better deal. So just have trust in the team you have, lender, realtor, and I guarantee you, you're going to get a good deal where you feel like, damn, like I'm really happy I dibbled in the market, dibbled and dabbled, you know what I mean? I had the right team around me though, so I couldn't do it without the right agent, me, and the right lender. So just make sure you have the right people. If you're buying now, you're gonna have a higher chance to sell that property in 10, 20 years and move to any state that you want to and have more financial flexibility. So I always recommend finding any loan program that you can get into, especially if you're planning to live in the home, and utilize your options so that way later down the road, if you need a refinance because the rate was high, you can refinance. But again, like we're talking about in this video, if you're just not buying because your rate's high and you can buy the home if the rate was 1 point less, get your realtor and your lender to lower that point for you so you can buy the home and it can be affordable for you. Now for me too, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so I'm sure you're watching this and you're like, well, how do I even get the best program for a first-time home buyer? You know, how do I start? Like, I don't have a lot of money, all that. This program right here with CalHFA, also California Housing Finance Agency, that's what they're known as, biggest agency in California for first-time buyer programs. One of the biggest, I should say. If you are in a situation where you can't get the down payment funds and you need some help with that, go to this program. Not everybody can easily qualify for it just like that, but it's not that hard to qualify because it's designated for first-time buyers. Meaning, if you're a first-time buyer, you've never bought a property, or if you haven't bought a property within 3 to 5 years, that may qualify you as a first-time buyer. So that's a little tip for you. If you're looking to just get started in investing in real estate, I would definitely suggest finding any loan option. But if down payment's your biggest reason that you can't buy, the CalHFA programs will have a lot of options for you. They have a VA program for the military. This CalHFA program can, in most cases, cover up to 3.5% of the purchase price for the home that you're buying and give you a loan to cover your down payment. So is it free money? No, it's not free money, which is why a lot of lenders don't like to use this program, because they have to get a separate loan for you to cover your down payment. So that is a downside with this program. I will be completely transparent. But again, in this type of market, in this type of situation, it's getting harder and harder to become a homeowner. And even though you may struggle financially a little bit, if you know that it's a short-term struggle that you're gonna face, but you purchase the home and you make it through after 3, 4, 5 months, you don't want to miss on that opportunity. Even if you don't see yourself living in the current state that you've lived in or that you're working in and you have a career in, so what? Invest. Because if you don't, your chances of becoming a homeowner every year become less. So if you have that opportunity, you just got to find a way around the crazy market to get the right deal and feel confident that you're making the right decision. Remember, you got this CalHFA program, let's say you got it, and yeah, it does help you with the down payment. You do have to pay that money back if you sell the property. I get that. But again, now you're a homeowner. Now you have some flexibility in the next couple of years when equity builds up in your property, and now you can sell the property. You may not make the most profit, but you'll be able to make some profit than none profit by renting, right? It is tough to be a homeowner. It is tough to save money in this economy, but if there is any way where we can get you as a homeowner, and especially Gen Z, if there's any way we can make it happen, let's make it happen. Because your parents, they were able to utilize the market 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We're not able to do it the same way. But again, if you have the right team that gets you the right loan structure, you're gonna be fine. Talk to the right realtor. If you're in California and you're in Orange County, San Diego County, even Riverside County, because that's where my house is here in Palm Springs, reach out to me. I would love to help you. I would love to help you on a good deal. But even if you're not needing a realtor, but you just want an extra opinion, I will always be there to give you good advice. But the best advice I could give you is there's never a good time to buy. It's always now. The good time to buy is now. If you have the pre-approval, if you were blessed to get that pre-approval in the first place, utilize the opportunity and buy now so you could set yourself up for the financial future where you could sell your property, make big bank, and take your big bank and buy other little properties in other states. I wasn't trying to rhyme, but hey, at a drop of a dime. Okay, let's stop. Now, also other loan programs that you should look at when you're buying a home is the FHA program, the conventional loan program, the standard programs. But FHA falls under the CalHFA program, where Federal Housing Administration, they help first-time home buyers and people who can't typically qualify for conventional standards to buy a property. There are so many other loan programs that help with down payment assistance. So look with all FHA programs, conventional programs, and have your realtor look up the programs if you feel like it's too overwhelming. The biggest mistake that you make when buying a house is not buying it. It's not knowing the right loan, the right payment structure, and knowing what you're getting yourself into before you sign the dotted line. It takes a little bit of time and some education, but it's all worth it. And like I said, go buy that house because it's worth it. I promise you. Do not listen to anybody who is giving you a different opinion on buying if they don't own property or if they are just afraid of what they think the market's gonna be like. If you are not buying based off of fear from your parents, from your family members, I know these people we love, we trust them a lot, but it can really affect the decision that you make where you can become more financially free in 5 years, 3 years. I bought my condo back in 2019, and at the time, they were claiming rates were high. My rate was 4.5%, and I'm like, what? If you go on the Zillow calculator and you type in what a 4.5% rate would get you at $300,000, because that's how much my condo costs, look at that 4.5 and change it to 6% for $300,000 and look at what the monthly payment is, okay? It's a huge difference. So again, back then they were telling me it was way too high. Rates are way too outrageous. Are you serious? And I know, like I said, my grandparents, they are big time real estate investors. Even they were concerned for me. But they look back, and when I have conversations with them, they said you made the right move. It was a risky move, but you made the right move. And there's no reward without the risk. I'm not saying risk everything, because again, if you only have like a couple of grand or no money saved up, you probably have to utilize a down payment assistance program. Be smart with your money, be structured, organize yourself a little bit. If you get yourself locked in on a property, even if the rate is 6%, you can find a way to lower it to 5%. You can find a way to refinance in a couple of years when the rates all go down to 2% again, hopefully one day. But just because you're kind of limited and you don't have all the options doesn't mean you don't have a good option in place. I look back on the investments that I made. If I didn't buy these two properties, I wouldn't have any money, I think, well enough saved to buy in the Florida market or the San Diego market or California market, you know what I mean. And had I not bought these properties, I probably would still be successful in my career, but then I wouldn't have the backing financially to pull money out of a house to go buy another one or to sell the property to go buy other properties in other states. There is a short-term effect with struggling financially that we all see when we buy, and it makes us not want to buy, but that short-term struggle, it turns to long-term success. It really does. And take it for a guy like me who's so wacky. Trust me, I I am a success story, and I want you to be the same, because I know if I did it, you can definitely do it, girl. So I want to end today's podcast talking about my trip to Florida, because like I said in the beginning of the video, I was so excited to go, but I did not know what I was prepared for. This was a trip where typically I always work on trips. This one, I didn't do. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it was a very eye-opening trip, not only for me, but just for the people around me. And it really had me reflecting on why we as people need to care for ourselves a little bit more, so that way we can love and appreciate the people around us. For me, my whole real estate career has been a crazy roller coaster. It didn't start off easy. When I was 19, I was trying to get my way through the door. I had a lot of struggles. I was living on my own. I left a toxic relationship right before turning 21. I was going through a lot. But for me personally, I've always struggled with loving myself and being okay with taking a break. I've always been on this competitive rat race with my own self, trying to prove my family wrong, people who didn't believe in me when I was a problem child. And it's caused me to become what's called a workaholic. And being a workaholic, sometimes you can get drained so much that you burn out. And I've been through both stages where I'm just a workaholic nonstop, and I was doing nonstop working. I wasn't taking care of my mental health. I wasn't speaking on what I was feeling and things that were hurting me inside, and boom, I had a burnout. And I did have a burnout for about like 6 months. I was always waking up every day thinking about real estate, my clients, what they need. If my client wasn't happy, I would let that emotion hit me for the entire day. I was overthinking so much about, how can I make my client happy? Why aren't they happy? Are they, if they weren't smiling with the emojis, like what's going on, And honestly, I didn't know at the time, but looking back on it, I was putting myself through so much mental anguish, taking on everybody else's emotions and not even understanding my own emotions. I come from a situation where people do not believe in me, and I use the people's disbelief in my future as fuel to be like, nah, I'm gonna show y'all. I acted like that since I was 19. I always had intentions to help people, which is why I started real estate, to get them into the right property. I loved that process, but I also love knowing at the end of the day when I got a check and I helped the client that I was proving all my doubters wrong. But that energy, if you don't utilize it and preserve it, you can get real toxic with that energy quick. And that's what I became for myself. I started despising the person I became the more successful I was in real estate. It's because I did not prepare myself to control my emotions or to feel my own emotions versus trying to take on everybody else's. Everybody says I'm a good realtor because that's what they know me for. You handle the problems, you answer my calls when I need you, when I'm stressed. All those compliments I'm getting from the clients, and they love it, but then when the deal ends and you don't have that relationship no more, you may become like me, feeling like, whoa, I put in all this effort and they don't even love me like that. And that's what ended up happening to me by 2021, where I kind of just said, I'm done, I tap out. I never realized that I was working to prove so many people wrong. And every time I would have a doubter, it was just another person that would add fuel to that energy that I have to prove people wrong. And I'm able to build the life that I have now. But again, I have my moments too, where a lot has happened in my personal life. I did not focus on tackling my personal issues, which caused way more issues for me in the long term, caused me to kind of just have a break for a whole 6 months of 2021, to realizing that I deserved better for myself. And even though I had lost a family member that year, I had lost a lot of just pain, grief going on that year, not having a good relationship with my mother, my family. A lot was happening, but I'm just so thankful that I was able to get myself out of that rut. And I didn't get out of that rut just by myself. I had good people around me, which is why I always stress energy. You really got to protect your energy. It first starts with you, me as a person. I have to protect my energy. If I have a lot of toxic energy from one person in my family that I've known for years, while I love them very much, they gotta go, and again, it's not to isolate yourself. You just have to find the right people in your family, in your friends group, that are supporting you, or if anything, are there for you but never to diminish you or make you feel less than. A lot of our friends and family, we don't realize they are hurting us more than helping us. And a lot of us, including me, we can't accept that we're hurting ourselves a lot of times. And when we hurt ourselves, it hurts everybody around us. And when I was in Florida with my family, you know, I'm just realizing like I'm not working. I'm actually just chilling. The vibe is right. And honestly, it's the biggest break that I needed. And you know, had I done this once a month, once every other 2-3 months with my family, I don't think I would have ever had a burnout like I did after working so hard for 4 years straight. No vacations, no real enjoyment. I did not work all this time to not enjoy the fruits of my labor. And that's something that I learned on this trip is like, man, when I get back, I'm gonna work my butt off. But you best believe I'm gonna chill and I'm gonna just relax a little bit in the process. I didn't tell you a lot in this video because I didn't want to go off topic. But if you have any questions about my trip to Florida, please comment below. If you have any questions going back to the real estate topics today about how to lower your rate, how to get closing cost credits or concessions back from the seller, just drop them below. I'm so thankful for all of you watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week for my next video. Have a good day.